Welcome back to the fine print, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Kelli Story from Green Queen Candies for part two. And Kelli, I was hoping for this part. I really enjoyed hearing about this stuff about addiction. That was great. I was hoping we could shift and talk about some of the business end of this industry. And I just got a great question right here from a guy, Doug Kolakowski. He said, could you ask her about the fact that the Health and Safety Board refuses to certify THC kitchens, making it impossible to start an edible company? Is that anything you know about?
So here's what I know about it is that this was a while ago, but when this all started, I spent a solid week or two going up the chain to the Department of Health until I finally got to the top of the chain. And the guy said to me, they're not overseeing THC.
Who's that guy? Do you know his name?
I don't. I didn't bring my notes with me, but somewhere in all of my notes, there are names
tell me
for
later.
all these people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But anyway, so he told me that I would be wanting to reach out to DPS, which is the Department of Public Safety. So it's, and it's my understanding that we will be overseen by, maybe I'm wrong, the Department of Liquor Control. That's how it was made out to me.
Does that seem like something that they should be involved in? You can pass it. You can pass it.
I will never pass on a question. If I don't have an opinion, I'll tell you I don't have an opinion. I definitely have opinions. So my thought is this: no, that's a federal arm. There should be nothing federal involved in what we're doing, because the federal level is what has fucked us up this whole time. The federal level is what made it so that little girl Kelli and people like me didn't even get an option of cannabis, because I was born in the early 80s. So that was never going to be an option. Like, that's stupid. I haven't had a seizure since I started taking cannabis to withdrawal from the harder drugs that I was on. So like, put two and two together. You know, it just, I don't know. My whole thing is federal shouldn't be touching shit. It should be done in state. You know what the state should have done, in my opinion? Maybe I'm wrong, but this was an opportunity for the state of Vermont to create new jobs and to create an entire new panel to oversee us. We are a very special industry, and I feel like we deserved that. Like, we should be overseen, maybe not by the Department of Health. What about giving the Department of Agriculture the rights to oversee us? You know, have them oversee them, list what the expectations are, and have that agency in Vermont. And I guess the Department of Agriculture, is that federal too?
I mean, there certainly is the Department of Agriculture, the USDA at a federal level.
But Vermont has their own department.
Also at a state level as well, yeah.
I just see they could have made jobs out of this. They could have made an opportunity for jobs.
And then there's also the Agency of Natural Resources, Department of Environmental Conservation. Have you had any contact with folks in those offices?
Yeah, so I've had to work with them over water permit stuff. And when I bought my new property, it's in Glover. So, I mean, I've had to talk to towns, I've had to talk to the state. The property I bought had a brand new septic system into it. So I don't really have to deal with the Department of Natural Resources myself anymore, because we have the engineer for the water system, and he now will deal with them.
Are you on town water, or do you have a well?
We have a well, but it's cool. I'm excited because I get to work with the engineer that built the system that's in place now. And when it was rebuilt, they did it in a way where it's only going to be a couple $1,000s to open lines up to keep expanding the use. And Glover itself is it's been a really amazing town, and there isn't zoning laws out here. So, I mean, if I end up doing anything that requires a permit, it's going to be on like the Act 250 level, but I only have 8 acres, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Act 250 thing is for 10 acres or more plots of land.
Oh, okay. I'm not positive on that either.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have any plans in the right now future. Like, we've got plans for the property. Like, we're budgeting it right now. Like, all of my money, all I could afford went to getting this actual place. So I'm really hoping that the state makes a really amazing market for us, because like I'm totally in debt now. And there's going to be a lot riding on this. I was smart about my purchase. I set this up so that I don't have actual like property payments to make until December, like the last day of December of this year. So I'm really counting on the state setting up a market in a timely fashion so that people like me can operate. And I'm really hoping the state wants to see my kitchen in the legal market because like, I don't know if you want me to bring it up right now, but like, that I'm planning on bringing like 10 other entities, small entities into my kitchen. So like my stake in the legal market or my contribution, a lot of things are my contribution, but one thing I'm really proud about is that I'll be directly making sure that we always have small Vermont crafters in the dispensaries because you're going to get like, a nice chunk of them right out of this location. And at an affordable rate that real people can afford, because I've just been really lucky. In my old life, I would never have been able to afford this. I've just been extremely lucky and had a very generous person give me a personal loan to do this.
Now, Kelli, I read the 7 days story. Says you're about 300K in here, and we're still waiting on licenses to be approved. What are your thoughts on that matter?
Well, this time in my life, it wasn't a stupid ex-husband who pinned me with a bunch of debt. It's debt that I've accrued myself. So
Okay.
there's that part. And it kind of sucks because I'm basically living on the generosity of my community right now. I try my best to not break any rules that are in place and stuff, but I can't exactly not operate because like I hand 65% of my products out to people that literally are like low income, can't afford it, and have been relying on me for 2 years now, some longer than that. So, I mean, I've been doing the candies since like 2017 at this point, and they picked up really fast. And right away, people were like, "Oh, I feel so much better." Like, I just used it for my neurological stuff. It was really helpful for me, but other people say for pain management, for sleep, for like headaches and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
It's, and like my whole thing is who am I to deny these people this thing that I'm able to produce and make,
Well, also, who is the state to deny those people that,
I mean, those people can only afford what insurance will cover. That's why so many low income people end up becoming drug addicts.
So
that's why I like to be a second option, like, oh, well, I know that I could get something for pain to maybe try first. Maybe it won't work, but like, I can tell you what, that's not a narcotic. It's not going to like, potentially be their substance that they happen to have a pre-existing addiction gene for.
Right. And maybe it will work.
Yeah. We should try it first. We don't try it first
that.
for cancer people either. Like, I don't get it. Why it's not a first option. It's a last resort and it should be the first option.
So what license you're going for? A manufacturing license, correct?
I'm going after 2 because I'm 50% owner of TK House of Green, which is our indoor grow, but we're going after the mixed license. We have a 600 square foot grow house and
so
we're going
tier
for the
one,
license.
Tier 1.
Yeah,
mix?
it will let us go to 1,000. And then I believe we're going to be allowed to have up to 125 outdoor plants. But at this point, I was late getting the license in because we just were busy. And then I saw the state was delayed. So I didn't stress.
And now you mentioned that Glover doesn't have any zoning laws, which is interesting because I know you had talked about doing a retail spot out there. And then maybe we're waffling on that decision. Where have you landed on that?
You're sneaky. I don't even know if you know this.
Told you could pass on anyone you want.
No, it's okay. So next year I'm going to be partnered to a dispensary as well, and we are looking for a location in this area because I love Glover. There is going to be hopefully a dispensary over in Barton as well, and I'm aware that Glover and Barton are right next to each other. But I'm friends with the people who are
the NEK hemp guys.
Yeah, I think they are awesome. Okay, and I really
seem
like
that
them.
way. I've heard good things about them.
I don't look at any of them or anybody on, a Vermont craft level as competition. I look at us as on the same team and what can we do to support one another so we don't eventually all get drowned out by bigger corporations.
Wow. Another great point, Kelli.
So I just look at it like if I get a dispensary a town over from like Cam's, for example, then That's awesome because now our stuff is in two places real close next to each other.
Right. If you're not doing your own retail, then having retailers pop up seems like a beneficial thing, certainly.
But yeah, I've partnered up with the Herb Collection, by the way. So I'm their new partner. And they
Cool.
have an amazing logo that's going to be released soon. And I told them first of all, I don't even have a pot to piss in. I'm living off of debt right now. So it can't be a 2022 thing, but for 2023, I'm absolutely down. And their designer already designed a really killer logo. And I hope Mike is not pissed off at me for just leaking this to you right now. Sorry, Mike, man,
Yeah.
you saw this, like he asked a question I couldn't not answer.
No, I'm glad. It's nice to see a lot of the smaller folks in Vermont like working together because, as you said, it seems like if you want to stave off the corporate influence, it's going to take a lot of small folks working together.
Plus, we're stronger together. Like, I don't get the whole competition thing. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm friends with like a ton of the women in the cannabis industry. You know, you're gonna be interviewing Anna, and
Yeah,
I adore Anna.
is it
She's
Anna? I
great.
was calling her Anna.
No, it's not Anna. It's Anna.
Shit. Well, I'll apologize.
Have you met her? Have you met her in person?
No, we spoke on the phone. I'm actually interviewing her tomorrow.
Well, she's charming, and I also will mention that her husband Josh is our insurance guy because like he's like the cannabis insurance guy.
I was hoping we could chat about that too, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of options for insurance in Vermont.
No, you should get him in for an interview because he will sit down and take the time to answer your questions. He was awesome answering all of my questions. And also when I wanted to know, like I was trying to figure out how much would I charge for rent to rent out kitchen slots to small cannabis entities who want to make like a couple of edibles, and when I told him that I was playing with these numbers, he told me it was extremely competitive. He was the best source for me as far as like getting an idea for that, because where do you go for that kind of information? What I want to do
Right.
doesn't really exist yet. And if it does, I think I'm too far living, as a little hedge witch in my cave to explore out there and find those other resources. So he's somebody you definitely should make time to interview.
Sure. And I think that was half the reason I ended up finding Anna was somebody had mentioned that, but also I read about her. She was also mentioned in the 7 Days story from the Headies there.
Yeah. Well, and Jamie, she won the Headies.
Yeah.
the
Talk about
Headies.
Jamie a little bit. She's great. I
I
her.
love Jamie. She's
Yeah.
amazing. So I met Jamie through Facebook. Before all of this, I used to have a group called Kelli's Kitchen, and that was back in like 2016 or something, a long time ago. And she wasn't following me back then, but it kind of evolved. I started doing more of the edibles and less of the body products. And then I started doing small tutorials, and I was sharing them in a couple of groups that I was facilitating or I had made myself on Facebook. And because my whole thing was like I wouldn't ever be able to fulfill the demand for the candies I make, making them myself. So I like teach people how to make their own stuff so that they can make their own medication or whatever they're using it for. So that's how I met Jamie. Was she would send me questions once in a while, asking me about like recipes or asking me about techniques. And I think we did the whole female like sniffed each other out kind of thing. And well, it's a real thing that happens. Okay. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I know I'm a bitch.
I don't know if that's strictly a female thing, but I know what you mean.
Oh, definitely not a female thing, because there has been lots of times, not so bad in this industry. Most of the dudes are chiller in this industry than in the entertainment industry. But the amount of times that I have to walk around feeling like I need to have my dick and balls out of my actual pants just so, I'll get the respect that I actually deserve. It's fucking stupid, dude. Don't make me pull my dick out, please. Saying, but I love women who
Pull it out,
are
Kelli.
all about supporting other women and just in general, like supporting the small crafter.
I noticed that was a big focus of your business, was bringing on other women and supporting women.
Well, Green Queen Candies is female fronted, female owned, and will be female dominated. I don't know if you heard the rumor, but it's totally true. I got Sherelle Grant as my business manager. So
is she the woman from Normal?
Yes, she is.
Cool. I think I met her briefly at your house.
She's amazing. And she is a friend. She is very important to me as a person and as a businesswoman. You know, I have my own limitations. There are days I have to just be done. I have my own stuff I live with and deal with every day. And being able to be really honest with Sherelle about my issues, where my limits may stop, she can keep going. So it's not even like a business manager. I look at it like she's in a way like my other half, my mentor. Like she's a very important person in all of the plans that I have in the future. So, and then of course I have Kaylee and Felicia, who
Felicia,
did you
what
get to
up?
meet them?
I
Yeah.
didn't meet Kaylee, but I've known Felicia for a little while now. She's fucking lovely.
Yeah, she's a little hustler. And the first time I met her, I knew I was going to keep talking to her because she has the same motivation and drive as me. And it's like almost comes from like a survival drive almost. But she's young and impressionable. And I knew that I wanted to be able to let her have this opportunity. So I had Felicia in mind and working, you know, kind of with me coming in, tinkering in my kitchen, showing her what I could do and stuff, showing her what I do. And I knew Kaylee because, you know, I used to sell her edibles. Or gift them to her, I should say, more or
Right.
less. Like
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say sell because
Free
I don't have like,
samples.
well, I'm donation based. Like this costs me a lot of money to make. I'm not using shit. I'm buying organic, fair trade ingredients. I'm very cautious about what goes into my products. I spend 16 hours to process a batch of oil. So I mean, yeah, I can accept donations because that shit's really expensive and I wouldn't be able to help as many people as I help if I wasn't receiving donations. Like I'm not
Is
gonna
that
lie
is
about
that going
it.
to be allowed in the retail market? People sharing their trim with you and stuff like that.
I won't need that though. We have our own grow. So like
Hey,
that's the
Banana,
whole reason.
shut up. Can you hear that?
Listen,
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. He's
maybe
quiet.
you wanted to be an orange today.
No, I think Tasha just got home.
So that was kind of my plan with Alex Place, though. It's not the same concept exactly. I won't need donation trims soon. We'll have our own grow. And the point of the grow is like, yeah, we want to have some of the indoor bud for like actual sales, but I'm going to buy the outdoor bud and like our indoor trim and buy that from Green Queen Candies and or four, I should say, from TK House of Green.
Yeah.
And we'll just, you know, we had TJ and I talked about it briefly and we were like, whatever the fair trade value is, we're just going to go with that to move the product to the candy company. And that's where my candy oil will come from. I also plan on maybe doing some collaborations with like cultivators who don't do any manufacturing of edibles because like I do work different types of oils. Like I can work with different mediums and stuff. I use a certain thing, but like I can make from their products other things to make these edibles out of. And then we could do like a line that's together or something, you know.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of growers that I've talked to that, I mean, everybody's looking for extractors and people
like,
to do this.
the part I'm worried about is the legal market not wanting me to be able to supply the people I'm helping at no cost right now with their products. Like I want to be able to keep helping them because it doesn't feel like it would be very fair for me to get into a profit market and not help the people that I've been helping for going on 3 years now.
Are you set up as a nonprofit? Could you run
Not
something
legally,
like
but
that?
like that's what I'm going to do with Alex Place. I've decided I'm going to turn it into an actual not-for-profit with actual board members and like that way maybe we can actually tap into some grants for some of the activities we want to be able to host here and stuff.
501c3.
Something like that. I don't really know enough about it. I threw a letter to my lawyers last week, but I mean, I told them to take their time to respond because like, you know, they're really busy right now, but it's in the works. I need to do something because I know if the state follows other states, they're going to want us to destroy like product that we don't use. And the way it works right now, when I get like large donations of plants and stuff, I have a process. We process the plant, we dry it out, you know, and then anything that would be high quality smokable, I pull off and that gets donated to people who like need the low income that are low income and need the flower, the high quality flower option. Um, and that's again, no charge. So, and now it's just gotten cooler. I don't really even have to do that because people have donated, like cultivators have donated like amounts of flour to me that are sufficient to be able to hook up our people with like a monthly supply so that they're not having to like go without.
I
'Cause
also
these-
believe, I could be wrong about this, and I probably might be. I'm not a business genius, but I believe if you have a nonprofit that people can donate to your charity and write that off on their taxes.
no,
So
you're not
then,
wrong.
okay,
Right.
cool. So then like growers might be able to just, here's a couple pounds and we can write that off.
As the fair trade value. I'm hoping, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if the state will let us do it. But the point would literally be because like I know we have really nice laws about like personal use in our own growing and stuff, but like for somebody who is disabled and low income, they probably have issues that is going to prevent them from being able to commit to a grow. Like that's the first point that people sometimes overlook is like even if they don't have a disability that is impacting their physical ability to go take care of those plants, okay, they might have a ton of doctor's appointments, they may be really just low energy, they may be fighting all their energy into like this battle they're dealing with and just not have it in them to keep up with the like you know the necessary babying that you have to do of the plants. So it's just crazy to me to think that like there's not an option for those people. They can't go to their insurance companies and get weed.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we maybe see the federal like legalization status change, if that will be covered under Medicaid somehow
Should
in the
be.
future. Yeah, if they're covering Oxycontin,
They cover whatever benefits them. Like, I mean, it doesn't pay the government to cure anything.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But anyway,
Can we talk about the banking for a minute, Miss Kelly? I know you've been having a fucking headache, and I'd like to hear from you as much as you're willing to tell me.
well, it was New England Federal Credit Union, NEFCU, and I was a member of that bank before I even opened my Highly Holistic account. And Highly Holistic is a non-cannabis entity. So I was really straight with them about all of this. And they had on the side kind of, I felt like I was being led on because they had told me like, oh no, we're going to have cannabis accounts, but only for like certain members. Okay. I'm like, okay, I can handle that. That's awesome. I expected it'd be a little expensive. You know, I was thinking maybe they'd be wanting to tack like, 5-10%, something like that of like deposits. That's what in my head, like what I was thinking. Yeah, I come from under a rock. But anyway, so after all the leading on, they made me sign a fucking NDA and I just signed it, because that's what I had to do to see these numbers. And then like I don't
Just to
even
see the
remember
numbers. This wasn't even to open an account. That was just to see how much they
Yeah.
were going to charge you.
to see their marijuana banking schedules. They don't even have it listed as cannabis. I'm pretty sure they still have marijuana written on it. And I did take the time to send them an email and explain. You notice how marijuana kind of sounds Hispanic? Do you realize that we gave it that name to like play into a racism of fear of Hispanics? Like, do you realize that marijuana is racist? I tried to talk to the health department about this as well, because I don't know if you've noticed, but they literally still have verbiage out there using marijuana instead of cannabis.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pamphlets.
But yeah, so just
I
to
got-
see
I
the
got one
rates, I
actually
had
right
to
here.
sign.
I
Oh
got one
yeah?
right here in front of me. Yeah, well, you won't be able to see it on the green screen, but that was my first interview I did, was with a woman from Department of Health.
But yeah, I wasn't impressed whatsoever. The first thing I did was send the fees to all the media because fuck them. And I felt like it was a personal attack against my disability. And it made me feel really uncomfortable because I had called them in advance about going in to set up my account because I live 2 hours away now. And all I wanted to do was set up a non-cannabis account. I was not using this for cannabis. I need a bank account so I can pay the bills to the overhead for my property now. you know, like I still
Sure,
like highly holistic.
everybody does, yeah.
And like, I don't know, they're like, no, like I trying not to break the rules, you know, but like they're not making it easy.
Right, and how do you prepare for this market if your business isn't already set up to have money flowing through it?
Sometimes I feel like they just want me to play pretend like I'm not doing what I'm doing. And I thought what we were trying to do was allow me to do what I'm doing in a legal way. I don't want to play pretend that I'm not doing it. I'm proud of what I do. I don't think what I'm doing is bad or wrong. Nothing about what I do feels criminal to me at all. Because like I help people. Like I've helped people get over addiction. I help people deal with chronic pain. I help people. I am not doing it for personal or financial gain. I help them
Well, maybe a
because
little
I'm
financial
empathetic.
gain. I mean, you'd like to be able to run a successful business. I mean,
Yeah, I'll have financial gain in the legal market from
right,
legally obtained profit. But
sure.
in the black market, I like to consider myself like a not-for-profit. Because I've tapped into donations to cover, you know, bills when I've been short or to help with groceries from time to time. But what I get goes back into what I'm making and essentially to the people I help. Because when I get extra donations, I go and like help people get things they need. Like it could be something silly like extra groceries or cat litter around the holidays. If I get extra donations, I give that cash to single parents because they don't always buy a gift for themselves. And that way their kids can see them open up something from like Santa as well. So, I mean,
Oh,
call it what you want, but what
oh,
I do is not for profit, man.
huh.
I'm just very blessed. I lived in a situation where my house in Greensboro was paid off. Because again, I bought it for $10,000 less than what we sold our Chittenden County house for. So, and that had been a flip to begin with before I met Chris.
You know what was something else I wanted to ask you about here, Kelly, was the packaging issue. And I
Mm,
know so there's a couple parts of this because the legislation says 50 milligrams per package, 5 milligrams for or something like that, something ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous. But apparently you are also allowed to sell to medical dispensaries in larger amounts. Where are we at on that? Do you know?
I have no idea about that part, but last I knew, 50 milligram caps, 5 milligram max per a dose. And the packaging requirements are just fucking stupid. They want it to be child proofed at 50 milligrams, really? You want us to go through the trouble of child proofing at 50 milligrams? Child proofing is really hard to put into compostable packaging. That one factor right there, you know, it makes it like in the black market, my shit is completely compostable and you grow flowers from it. You just plant it in the ground and flowers grow. And that's how I should be allowed to operate in the legal market as well. So I don't know. And then not having no viewing window. This is the other part for me. What in the fuck, guys? You are making these products available in dispensaries, right? Dispensaries are going to be for people who are 21 years of age and older, correct? Why the fuck can't I show my shit? Like, why is it okay to go into a bar that's 21 plus and I can see the beer getting poured right into the glass from the microbrewers and the craft brewers, and I can see their logos and I can see their products? Why am I not allowed to show the products that I pour myself into? Why does it have to be hidden like a dirty secret when it's being bought in a place that is only serving people 21 years and up? Like, why is that being put on to me?
Does it seem like these rules are maybe sort of tailored to children, even though it's like an adult use market?
Yeah, I feel like it's the adults who don't even use the products or have them around, like coming into their home where their children also live, that are being ridiculous about it too. Like it, instead of putting all this energy into putting restrictions onto us, why not make all of the people with licenses responsible to put out educational material for parents? Why not that? Because like I would do a Green Queen Candy thing. I would put out recommendations of people to buy lock boxes that can be in the freezer and they have the key for it
Now,
and you don't let your kids get into it, you
let me
know?
ask you, Kelly, you have kids. Have you talked to your kids about cannabis use and how do you approach them about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, they watched me start using this at the age of 27. And, you know, I mean, So it's normal. Like they're used to it. Like they understand that it's not for children. They understand that this is my option for medical. This replaces what I used to get in pill bottles, like, so to them it was medical. And it's always been a thing where it's like it's not for children unless it was really special circumstances and you had all the doctor's approvals and stuff, because we have gotten to that point as a society where a child with severe issues can access cannabis, and that's something amazing we've had to work really hard for. But like it's not typically for kids, and I explain to my kids, even when you feel grown, your bodies are still growing. And you don't need to put extra stuff in your body that's going to mess with your growing. Like as a child, I give you healthy options and fresh foods to help you grow. We don't want to do anything to screw up the natural growth in youth, basically. I do think 21 is a stupid age for cannabis, to be personal, like on a real level between you and me. I think if at 18 years old, you can go sign up with our military and you can lose your life in a war, that there should not be any real good reason why you can't smoke a joint or drink a beer at 18 years
Or
old.
a cigarette,
And
you know?
also, if you're going to tell me that my 21-year-old or my 20-year-old child can't consume, please allow me to have him as a minor, because that's not an adult if they have these restrictions based on age. But for some reason, when it comes to taxes at 18 years old, we get cut off on that. So,
Oh, that's another great point,
and
Kelly.
insurance and stuff
Yeah.
too. Like you want my 19-year-old to take care of his own insurance because you think he's an adult, but you're not going to give him adult privileges until he's 21.
I thought you
What?
could stay on your mom's insurance till you were 25, actually, in Vermont. 26, 20.
Is that like a stipulation of if they're in college?
I'm not sure, but that was another great point, Kelly. Really, boy, we got about 7 minutes here, and here's something I've been asking everybody. If you could rewrite the legislation yourself, what would you keep and what would you throw away or change?
I would just start fresh. I would take out any
Yes,
comparing
Kelly.
to other states. I would stop comparing cannabis and liquor. I would stop all of that. And, it's not that hard. 21 plus in the dispensaries. Having eco-friendly packaging should be more important than child-proofing, because that money, that effort should be in education. Let's educate parents how to responsibly consume cannabis while still being parents. Why is it that hard? It's normalized to bring alcohol to a barbecue with your child. So I don't know. I would start there. It's a flower. You grow it fresh from the grounds. If we just teach our children from a young age that it's just not for kids and it's a medicine, and you're just honest about it, it's not an issue. Like they accept the truth and move on from it, and just go on being kids. So that's my experience anyway. So I just think we just are taking it way too extra, treating it like this is heroin or something. It's not, I'm not going to need to pull out my Narcan or Narcane or whatever the fuck it's called for cannabis. I carry it because you never know when, prescriptions, people
Do you
have
really?
overdoses,
You carry Narcan.
I do. And I also have fentanyl testing strips for cannabis, because when we
Oh.
take donations, I always test stuff because you never know.
Can I get that? I would like to also carry Narcan.
Yeah. So if you call most recovery places and explain that, like, maybe you're somebody that just is working with people who are working on addiction recovery.
Yeah.
I've been hooked up for free every
Okay.
time.
Cool. Sorry to interrupt you there. That was just something that piqued my interest.
No, it's important to have no matter where you are, because like, even though we're hard drug and alcohol free, that doesn't mean that somebody wouldn't have used prior to coming
Right,
here,
yeah.
or somebody might have like a prescription they're legally taking and accidentally overdose on it. So you never know this day and age when you might need it. I would recommend everybody carry it on them all the time.
Especially in the Northeast Kingdom, I was like,
There's
Yeah.
not enough services out here for sure. Just in
Anyway, I didn't
general.
mean to interrupt you, but is there anything
Oh.
else about the legislation that we got 4 minutes, Kelly, and then I got to get ready
I
for
just
work.
think they're being way too extra and making it too hard. Like, I think that let us live at the standard that you would have any other food vendor for edibles anyway. Whatever would be acceptable for a candy manufacturer or a bakery under the Department of Health, make that what we live by. That's fine. Let's live on those standards. Okay. And then as far as selling to the store, let's put eco-friendly before child-proofing, because I had compostable right down to the ink being plant-based. Like everything about it was friendly to the environment, non-damaging to the environment. I don't want to say friendly like it was bonus to the environment, but it was non-damaging. And that's something Vermont should care more about than the child-proofing piece. Let's teach our parents to be amazing parents and responsible cannabis users, and let's be proud to produce eco-friendly compostable packaging. And then also on the banks note, can I also just add something? So they
Sure
brushed
can.
that completely under the rug. I felt like I was being attacked for my neurological issues, because when I went to go set up that account, the woman forced me in a corner about my bank, about my business. I had Tim Fair, my lawyer. I had him set up Highly Holistic for me, because part of the things I struggle with is like those big forms. And it was just easier, you know, and I'm allowed to do that. I don't have to have a disability to hire a lawyer to do a job for me. And, you know, but I did hire him to do that job. And that job was done because I have a disability that I live with. And part of the reason I'm successful is not fighting with myself over what's hard. I just move on and do what comes naturally and hire people to do the hard stuff for me. That's how this works. So I explained that to the woman at the bank. She had prior knowledge of that. And they closed my account 4 days later after giving me a really hard time about opening it anyway. And the reason they gave me for closing my account was they didn't feel comfortable with the name of the person listed in my business formation papers, which was Tim Fair. So literally New England Federal Credit Union shut my small business account down, which was non-cannabis, which I was honest with them about, all because they don't like my lawyer's name. Even when I told them I hired that lawyer as a favor to me, because that was a challenge with my disability. And
Don't you
when
think- Don't you think
what?
don't you think a bank would prefer it if a business had like a lawyer to help you set up the structure? Don't you think that would be something they would prefer? It seems like something they would like to see.
I personally think that for whatever reason, some big wig over at Nephew has like a huge giant stick up their ass about my lawyer. He's an amazing advocate. So if you're anti-cannabis, you're probably not going to like him.
And I talked to Tim. I had him on the show. Maybe they just got sick of seeing his name because he's on so many documents.
He's an amazing guy. He has a huge heart and he's really smart at what he does. And I trust him and my legal team with my life, you know.
Kelli, 60 seconds. Do you have any final notes? I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad we finally got to do this, but I'm going to leave the last 60 seconds to you.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Come by sometime and grab some dank ass products. And I don't know. Thanks for doing what you're doing. I don't really have a good 60 seconds out.
That's all right. Take a hit of your vape and we can just call it. That seems good. Maybe. Oh, that was all caked up at the end. Fucking thing. Well, Kelli,
I got to 8 on that one. I usually cut it at 3.
Well, Kelli, this has been a pleasure. I want to thank you again, and we will for sure follow up on this. Let me know how your license goes, and we'll check back in later. Thank you so much.
Have a good day, Caleb.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, perfect timing. Oh, that was beautiful.
Okay.
Killer. That's like a solid fucking hour and 10.
Sorry about the end. I could have
What?
gone on about the
I don't
bank
give a
even
shit.
longer. But yeah, they told me they were doing an in-house investigation, right? They never even sent me the findings. They just brushed it right under
At the
rug.
bank?
Yeah.
This is going to
Rushed
cut
it.
out in a minute, but I'm going to have to run this down, but we can chat more later. And that was
Yeah,
fantastic.
let's do another meeting because I do good in small segments.
Yeah, sure. Cool. I got to get ready for work, but we will definitely pick this up again.
All right, I'll see you later.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kelli.
Kayla. Bye.
Yeah.